G'day Mosher crew, welcome to the latest edition of Mosher Crew Confidential. This is Vaughn Gregory here, lead singer of Crave Forsaken. And today I'm just going to talk a little bit about the next studio album that we're working on. Lately I've had a few people sort of say to me, Vaughn, why do you guys release so many studio albums? It's pretty uncommon these days for bands to release an album a year, but I hark back to most of my favourite albums from the 70s and 80s were coming from bands who were releasing an album a year. Right? I can name a stack of them. All the classic Iron Maiden albums, all the classic Kiss albums, most of the classic Rolling Stones albums in the 70s, most of the classic AC/DC albums from the 70s and early 80s. Judas Priest used to go an album a year. Most of my favourite bands, Mortification early on in their career were going an album a year. Tourniquet, Deliverance. Most of my favourite bands put out most of my favourite albums at a time in their career when they were going at an album a year. And I think it's just that creative role that you're on when you're in a band. When we play, relatively speaking, we play quite a number of shows, probably compared to what we used to. Of late, certainly in the last couple of months, we generally play at least a show a month, it seems, particularly since Richard's come into the band. So I think it's just when you're together as a band and you're rehearsing a lot and you're playing similar songs over and over again in your set list, like you just get a lot of new ideas, and Elias and I, we just love collaborating on songs. So we're forever coming up with new ideas. Not so much me lately. I've sort of said to Elias, don't give me any ideas, because we've got a batch of 10 songs that we're currently working on for the next album. So you're pretty keen on just at this stage putting lyrics to those and learning what they are and getting them down with Daniel. But we're really quite far along in the process now of this next album. We've done it a bit differently to how we did This Day Forth. This Day Forth was very much go for our underground 80s feel. We wanted it to sound like early albums by bands like Sodom and Destruction, and the early Big Four Bay Area stuff like Anthrax, Fistful of Metal, Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth. That was the sound we're looking for on This Day Forth, but on this one we're going for I suppose a more careful, considered production. We've been in pre-production for quite a while, and we're now going in on Friday nights, and we're in the post-production phase now that all the riffs are down, all the song ideas and structures are together, and it's really just a case of layering these songs now, making them better and better. So a lot of the rhythms are done, most of the drums are done. Dave's drumming on this album still, despite Richard being in the band. I hope I've made that clear. A few reviews of This Day Forth have, with the sort of weird transition we had with Tim being credited as singer on that, even though I did most of the vocals. A few reviews have expressed that they're a bit surprised that the singer has now left the band, according to our website. But most of the vocals on This Day Forth are me anyway. Tim did sing on a couple of the songs, but it's actually funny. Not since River of Blood have we had an album come out where the actual band on the album is still the band when the album comes out. Like on Destined, we had it was credited as the 4-piece featuring Tim. But by the time Destin was actually released, Dave was well and truly drummer of the band, and Tim was singing live. And then by the time This Day Forth was released, Tim wasn't in the band anymore. And so we're going to have the next album released with Dave on drums, even though Richard's the drummer. So we're hoping for the one after that, 2011 album number 5, that the lineup we've got now of Simon, Richard, Matt, Elias and myself will actually be the current lineup when the album comes out. But you just do what you can do with these things. So that's the process at the moment, and that's where we're at with it. we're going in on the Friday nights. The first job is for Elias and Simon and Matt to get all their rhythm parts down so that the songs are there. Like I say, all the riffs are written. I probably won't play a great deal of guitar on this album. I'll leave that to those guys now that I'm just singing live. But I mean, I'll probably do a little bit on the songs I've written in particular. But you know, we'd like to, where possible, make it Simon and Elias, and Dan's going to do a fair bit of guest guitar work on it as well. He's contributed a couple of solos on the last two albums actually. So you know, you'll hear a bit of Dan's tone, and of course Dan is the man behind Templar, and he's also heavily featured on the most recent Scourge Flesh album. So expect some shredding work from Dan on the album. And we just want to make it the sort of, I suppose, beefiest, thrashiest album that we can on this one. So the themes on the album, they deal a lot with world issues. So stuff like No News and Wasting Power are probably a good starting point in terms of the overall lyrical content, but it's of course, you know, as always, very, very much faith-based. It's just so important for us that message comes across loud and clear in what we do. We're really aiming, as we always do, and I think so far we've achieved, we're aiming for it to be the best Grave album. Show me a band that doesn't want their next album to be better than their last one. For how long we can keep that up for, I don't know, because I feel like on this album we're coming into a bit of a place where, you know, the sound's established. When we first started with River, we weren't quite sure if we wanted to be a death metal band or a doom metal band, and then most people started calling it sort of thrash, or at least, you know, rudimentary thrash. And then on Destin we went for more of a classic metal feel. Again, probably not deliberately. We just wrote riffs that sounded that way. We never really have deliberately aimed for a particular sound, to be honest. It's really just what Elias and I, for the most part, come up with musically. It's not really a plan. It's hard to describe. You just sort of write what you write and you develop. We seem to have established that I should do most of the vocals. After the first couple of albums, we're juggling it around a bit and, you know, going for a bit of that Kiss feel where all the members would contribute vocals, but it's going more and more towards me singing most of the parts now, and it's just a constant development. And then it'll probably change again, because obviously Dave, this will be his last work with the band, so the next album will have Richard, and Richard is a much more sort of rock drummer, straight ahead rock drummer, whereas Dave's more of your thrash death metal type of drummer. So naturally the songs of Richard will take on a bit more of they'll still be, we're not going to change the way we write, but his interpretation of the riffs might give them a slightly different feel to what they might have if Dave was in the band. So it'll be interesting to see what happens musically when we actually record with Richard, which will probably start happening, well, I'm hoping the next album will come out next year. And given the way we work, we'll probably start working on a new album sometime a couple of months after whenever this next one gets released next year. So, I mean, I would guess within a year or so, we'll be working on an album with Richard. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about the fifth album. I'm here to give you a bit of an insight onto the fourth album. So I can't give you any release details yet, because we basically, haven't had anything confirmed. I can say, and I hope he doesn't mind, I can say that we're negotiating with Soundmass, and we are super keen to continue working with them. We've been really happy with This Day Forth, the way that it's been promoted, and we're more than keen to do the next one there. And you know, there will be some announcements about that in due course, about the release plan for this next album, and things like album titles and covers and all that stuff is in the pipeline. I can assure you that this next release is well into development. So yeah, we're excited. We're excited to bring it to you, and yeah, it's just another chapter in the Great Forsaken story. We're just going to keep playing gigs, keep recording, just doing what we love. You know, putting the message out there. It's things have been going really, really well lately. We've had a lot of shows compared to what we normally do. We seem to be getting about 2 a month at the moment, which is really exciting. It's always been a bit of a dream of mine to sort of, you know, play weekly or fortnightly or at the very least monthly, and that seems to be happening lately. And we've just played a gig at my school where I teach as well, and it was good to give a lot of students a chance to see the band, and a lot of the other teachers now I can sort of see what I do when I'm not teaching maths. So look, it's all good. It's all good. It's exciting. God's blessing the band. We're quite tight as a unit now, as friends as well, which is really, really exciting. Look, we all get along really well, and I'm not just saying that. Like, Dave's not in the band, Tim's not in the band. I've spoken to and hung out with those guys recently. Dave's obviously still recording drums with us. You know, we try really hard in Grave to be friends first, and if somebody has to leave for whatever reasons, you know, it's well discussed, it's well understood where everybody stands, and we move on with friendships, and you know, that's just the way we like to operate. So hopefully, you can see my wife in the background. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning actually, so if my voice is a bit croaky, it's just this is the first I've spoken. But yeah, thank you, Mosher Crew. Thanks for tuning into Mosher Crew Confidential. Thanks for all your support. Add us on Facebook with the Great Forsaken page. Follow us on Twitter. Get onto MySpace. Become our friend. We really ask for your support in the band and the ministry, and we want to create some sort of a critical mass. You can probably hear Aaron in the background as well. He's just having his breakfast. So there he goes. The joys of family life, hey? So yeah, thank you, and I'll stop rabbiting on now, but this has been Mosher Crew Confidential October edition, and hopefully, yeah, it's given you a little bit of an insight into where things are at the moment. Okay, signing out. God bless, and Mosh on. We'll catch you in the December edition of Mosher Crew Confidential.